We've got Zoom going, and hello. We've got YouTube live. YouTubers, I won't be seeing you, of course, but if you put something in the chat, I can respond to it verbally. And so good to be here with everyone. What we'll need today, let's get the logistics out of the way and we can start dropping in. You'll need some space to be on your back and roll from side to side. So pretty big space. Floor is optimal, but you could be on your bed. If you did this, you could, I haven't experimented. If you did this sitting on the couch, I bet you could do this sitting on a couch if you wanted to. I'm going to try that after the fact, but you could do it. You always can accommodate to your needs. So let's start with the bell to call us in. Oh, and then will be option after the movement will be option to come up to seated meditation for stillness after the movement. Turn your attention in to notice, and not only in, the in is a good cue, but as you turn your attention in, we're also broadening, opening out. So you might be noticing your breath, maybe deepening. That's what I went to as I heard this bell. So often I'm reporting kind of hot off the press right here. My intent is to have just to model what for you to go and in and feel in and out simultaneously, and feel and noticed from this relaxed place, this space and time we carve out together. Thanks to Sun and Moon Yoga Studio, thanks to all the powers that create a YouTube. Thanks to you for attending. Because as I say over and over and invite you not to just hear it, but to feel it for yourself, there's such power in our shared intention and our shared practice. And today, in just a few moments, we'll be moving, but as you're kind of arriving here, with that word kinda in front, it's a little lazy adjective. We're always here, but we're not so attentive to the more of what is here. And that's part of what this practice gives us. So in the turning to this, arriving to this, becoming attentive to our presence, it's very helpful to sense the ground. And I would bet that just by nature of my voice, the bell, or shared intent, I should say shared intent, but you may have your own reason for being here that's different from mine. And yet we're all in this collective path of trying to tap into our wholeness, to tap into the compassion that's always here and yet also obscured by defensiveness or hurt, or just uber focus. And so just by getting quieter, beginning to pay attention, we sense how the ground is so solidly here for us. And as I say this, I so often think about when I say that ground is so solidly here for us, I so often think about earthquakes. When I would use this phrasing, the Christchurch earthquake had happened, and somebody in the class with me had friends there. So, as Pema Chodron often teaches, things change. Even the rug gets pulled out from under us, and so the groundedness, while we can really benefit from sensing its firm solidity right here now, unless you're in Venezuela at the time of this recording. And at the same time, there is something, a groundedness that includes our body, our presence, our togetherness, our wholeness, the ground of being. So we've got breath going on. We're sensing our groundedness, our ground of being through our body, through the attentiveness, that relationship of our attention to the manifest world we are and we're in. And to sound. And just my saying that word may have been the invitation for hearing. For me, it's the drops falling from, I think, the gutter outside. I think it stopped raining, but there's from the forsythia in the gutter falling on the sill, the outside windowsill. And that tuning in to sound or space around, all that's in the space around us, does that thing of going in and out the same time, connecting our senses that are right here, very individual to us, and yet linking with the outside world. And where is it actually happening? Here or there or both. So these are the cues I use from my teachers now for about 9 years, Russell and Linda Dellman of the Embodied Life School. The ground, sound, breath. As we now move toward our movement and even into our sitting, you can always come back to one of these, or one of our teachers uses hands, feet, seat. That's another really good one. Rich neural areas, feet like close to ground, hands, very sensory, linking us to the world around. Seat, I am right here. Also sensory rich area, our deep belly, pelvis, golden ball area. I call a little image I have of the deep pelvis, a golden ball, and that might be useful in what's coming next. So if you're sitting, you can go ahead and transition to lying down on the ground. Legs can be long or bent, whatever feels really comfortable for you. And as I mentioned, I think I mentioned earlier, if you want to do this in a chair or on a couch, that's good too. You can do that, or on your bed or on your back. And if you've been transitioning from sitting to lying down, take a moment to feel that arrival. Just that shift from not being relaxed, attentive in the way we are now to getting here, to to this portal to presence. So now I'm forgetting a little whether what I said before I started the recording and once I started it. But I'm inspired deeply by a movie we watched last night that's gotten some good reviews, Sheep Detective, Wisdom of Sheep. And I'll try to pepper in some connections to that here. So on the ground, feeling your body, feeling your spine. As you're ready, bring your knees into your chest. And I'm going to just do this also for a moment, but then I'll sit back up. Knees into your chest and put your hands, one hand on each knee. And you will need space to roll to your side. So, yeah. Okay, one hand on each knee. Cap, so right hand on the right knee, left hand on the left kneecap. And you could just wiggle a little side to side. Just feel the low back. Maybe make little circles with your knees. Go fast or slow. Just arrive here for a few moments, and then you can get still, get heavy. Sense your breath, sense the ground. And choose a side to work with. We'll just work with one side at a time. I'm going to go to my right. Just going to let my right hip, my right leg get heavy and start to tilt over to the side. So the right leg, the hips won't tilt yet, just the leg comes out to the side a bit. And then bring it back and feel the work involved, the effort, feel the wholeness of yourself. The wholeness, like a sheep is a member of a flock. And just do that repeatedly, just letting the right leg get heavy and go out to the side to the right. And your arm come with it. The left, the other, whichever side you're working with. The other leg may or may not come yet. Just the right leg gets heavy and come back. And then let's come back to the center and let go of your knees. Just put your feet on the ground and come to a pause back where kind of the neutral of this practice, this little exercise that we're doing. Just a pause. You could keep your knees in or even put your feet on the ground. The pauses are so powerful neurologically, neuromusculologically, maybe physiologically, maybe whole being logically. As we now take the movement again, so knees into your chest, we'll work with the same side. Just imagine, don't even do anything yet, don't move on purpose, but just imagine the right leg getting heavy, the right side of your body, the right hip, the golden ball maybe just getting heavier on the right side. Already something might be happening. And just let the right leg go out to the side, or the side you're working with, I'm sorry. Maybe it's the one that we're moving. And the other leg, just let it stay in place. Like so the legs will start to go wide a little. Go ahead and move if you haven't yet. Just letting that right side get heavier. And then coming back. And what we're moving toward is just letting the idea of heaviness in our body do the movement for us. The wholeness and choosing to feel like, oh, the right side's getting heavy. And eventually the right leg and arm, the right arm or the side, again, just translate for yourself, the side you're working with, that arm comes to the ground, the elbow, and then come back up. And you could have one knee in at a time and the other leg can be on the ground, as I see one of you choosing. That's absolutely fine. Coming back, and each time just thinking, how can I just be heavy? And even when you're over to the side, when one side is over to the side, say your upper arm's on the ground and the elbow, and you still have hold of your knee, Can you just get a little heavier in the right arm and it creates almost a rebound and sends you back up? All right, and come back to center, let it go. Even let your legs come back down, feet, legs to the ground. Just pause and just feel. Something's different, maybe just a little something in your breathing. Maybe something feels different in your body. The way you feel the ground. And let's go at it again. Knees into your chest. I should have also mentioned if you can't, for any reason, can't reach your knee comfortably, you could grab a, a scarf or something around you if you have a yoga belt and just loop it around your leg to help you out and hold on to that. And again, maybe first just starting in imagination, maybe starting with the other side as you put your hands on your knees. And just let yourself get heavy on this one side, imagining it. Imagining and doing are very closely linked. And then getting, as you roll a little over to the side, actually roll, going a little, putting the movement to the imagination. And then when you come over to the side a bit, perhaps the arm or the upper arm or elbow even touches, and just push it, just not push, sorry, I didn't mean to use the word push, erase that. Just get heavy in the arm and that may just provide the bounce to get you back to moving back up. And then coming back to center and maybe taking this side to side, letting the legs go wide. Perhaps some of you are keeping them together and that's fine. Or you can let the knees go wide apart from each other, letting one leg fall lower to the ground. I almost said the word fall, which isn't wrong, but if you're doing this with this, using the heaviness of the stream of gravity coming down through us, with us, we can just use this heaviness to go to the side, which is kind of obvious with gravity. But then as we use gravity again, get heavier again into the ground to lift back up. And coming side to side. And imagine as you move, I have a temptation to stop us again. Yeah, I'm going to have us stop again. Again, because the punctuation, just like pauses in music, if we didn't have the pauses, it would be so different. The pauses really create something, the space, like the air that gets what's my motion with a spoon that gets when you're making a souffle or something, the air that gets into the batter that just stirred into just lightly enough. And then come back to start this again. And now as you move, you might be, do I get a thumbs up? Are we feeling this effortlessness that's coming in? I got a leg up. Is that a thumb up? Good, good, good. It's really different than the efforting. And you can play with that to like how you felt the efforting, especially in the beginning of coming back up. There's effort, but if we let ourselves get heavy to what's touching to the side, it sort of just floats back up. Our body parts that float back up. So my invitation now is to choose as you're moving, and it's useful to be going slow because in the slowness, I had a word here, it's like you recalibrate at every degree of movement, that you're balanced, that you're integrated, that the words that want to creep in is control, but I don't really want it in the usual sense, but there is a sense of every degree you move, you could be balanced right there, however small or big the increment is. And the invitation I've started with 2 sentences ago was, imagine any part of you, maybe it's the tip of the nose, starts the movement. Maybe it's the golden ball that I mentioned, deep in the lower belly, surrounded by the two hips, the front lower belly, the pelvic floor, the sacrum and back, and the upper belly just over top of it, that kind of sphere. What some might say is our center of gravity as a human body. And then you could shift if you were initiating by the golden ball. Now maybe initiate by the shoulder axis, but effortlessly, still this just kind of relax into gravity, where your mind takes that part of your body, gets it heavy with gravity. And then if you're over at your side, even both knees could come together on the side. And then just get heavy with the side that's closer to the ground and float up back to center. I hope it's feeling really, really delicious. This is one of my favorites. And there's lots more. These lessons from Feldenkrais, I could do a whole hour with this, making little variations. But alas, take another minute or minute and a half, another 90 seconds-ish to move. And then I'll invite you to stillness and to staying where you are or to coming up to sitting. So just play a little with that agenda in motion, in mind, in heart. So one of the many dear themes in this movie, Sheep Detective, is being part of the flock, as I mentioned. So each part of us is a part of something larger. The elbow is part of the body. The heart is part of the circulation system. Each of our bodies is part of our community. Communities, part of our household. The people, the animals, the structures of the house. Part of our lineage, part of the bigger group of our family that's not with us anymore. And the ones to come. We're part of this sun and moon community. We're part of the internet community. So many communities. Part of longtime friends from school, from play groups, from classes, neighborhood. Right, so as you're ready, no hurry, but you make your way up to sitting quietly whenever you arrive to stillness. So yeah, that can include the transition from ground to a chair, from ground to your meditation cushion, and then getting settled there, refinding your ground of physical body, ground of being. So that you can now be still and comfortable enough to be still, to support the stillness without holding ourselves still, just being here. And we'll have about 5 or 6 minutes in this seat. In this shape. And really on the continuum of what we were in movement, because we're always in this continuum in our human bodies, of movement to stillness. And I like to note that as we sit in meditation, we're not 100% still. May look to somebody who's looking at our body, but if they look closely, they may see our body slightly expanding on the in-breath, relaxing inward on the out-breath. And we who are the meditators ourselves, we get to feel the stillness and the rich life that's happening in our heartbeat, in our breathing, in our nervous system, feeling maybe parts of us that feel really nice, like my hands feel warm and relaxed on my legs, or feeling an ache in the shoulder blade or in the lower back or in a knee. And feeling a stream of maybe a torrential rain of thoughts that might come here and there. And still, just as I invited in the movement, we can open to the more, to the all, to the silences, the spaciousness, and the stillnesses. It can be helpful to allow some softenings, even as we stay attentive, softening as if the eyes get a little wider, or the back of the head where it meets the neck and sort of toward the ears gets a little wider, softer. I'm not sure of how I am beginning to more and more know this to be true. Maybe from teachers, teachings, movies, and my own experience, all a little bit, and still in process. Thich Nhat Hanh had a phrase or a little teaching that was about imagining arrows being shot at towards you as becoming flowers. And so you're showered with flowers rather than arrows. The Course in Miracles teaches that every, where's my notes of remembering this? Every attack is a plea for love. I think when we know our wholeness, so any part of us feels a natural compassion toward another part of us. And when we know that our wholeness is our self is everyone, everything, every living being, every manifestation, even in my belief, even stones and gems and inanimate objects, then it's natural to feel kindness and compassion. But there is a process, and this wholeness, or remembering our wholeness through these practices, through gratitude practice, helps us. And I was given a little sharp lesson in preparing for today as I'm reading some David White on forgiveness, on gratitude. All of a sudden, one of these arrows that has hit me repeatedly came in full force. And what a gift, in a way. I was just like in this contradiction of, yikes, I'm preparing for this practice, and yikes, I am really on the defensive here and wrestling with this and hating this. And so I just used this practice of opening, of breathing, sensing and remembering these phrases, the arrows turning into flowers. I wasn't sure, and I know I'm not done with this. That quiver of arrows has more coming toward me. It may always, but through my practice, through these ideas, leading me to feel my wholeness, I was able to embrace it for now. There's something more for me to do with that, and to feel this wholeness is coming to the ground of our being. And so with a bell and a bow, I bring our practice to a close. I feel that there will be there's much more to say about The Sheep Detective. I highly recommend going to see it. I think I might, so I can do this. I may have the rest of my summer themes it'll be maybe 8 classes or so on lessons from the sheep detective, sheep wisdom. But there was one today about being part of a flock, which continues what I've been talking about, our communities and being part of a whole. So we do not have class with Sun and Moon next week, so I won't be on the YouTube either. Next is the 5th, and then I think we start right up. I did take a look at what's on the Sun and Moon schedule, and I do want to mention Doug Keller. Some of you may know him. Will be in Fairfax at the end of July. If you love your yoga practice and have never studied with him, he is he's a very seasoned, we used to call them our master teachers that would come. He's local. He lives, I think, in Loudoun County somewhere. And I think some of the richest, he will do all kinds of movement with you, and probably more and more gentle, I would guess, as time has progressed. But some of the best breathing practices, just laying in Shavasana and being guided through have been with his guidance. So that's rich. Also, one coming up, a workshop in Arlington, I'm pretty sure it would be available by Zoom, is with Gretchen, who I know a little bit. I haven't been in one of her classes, but she's got a workshop on whimsy in yoga. And I have to say that some of the times a teacher has included playfulness or laughter, or when I've been part of a children's yoga class, it's so much fun and it's so uplifting. And that's another important part of our wholeness, to balance out some of the everything. So it's a lot of fun. And one final thing, on 4th of July, and I might attend myself here in Arlington, Katha will be doing a benefit class. It'll be a drop-in at 10 in the morning, and I forget what it benefits now. I didn't write that down, but she's doing that in Arlington in person. So I'm going to stop the recordings now and say goodbye. And those of you who want to stay on Zoom through the Sun and Moon portal, I'll stay and chat for a little bit. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, YouTubes. Thanks, Lynn.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Lynn.
Bye.